gmna uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action.
Good evening, I'm Vivian Castellanos. Tonight we'll celebrate the garden party protecting Elizabeth Street Garden, preview the Spritz-laden new bar opening in the East Village, and give you a traffic rundown as moderate delays linger from scheduled construction. Over to you, Andre.
The new bar, Spritz & Co., opened today on East Village's 14th Street. Founded by alumni from the culinary program at Dante, serving Italian-style cocktails.
Opening hours run from 5 p.m. until midnight, with a rotating menu of Aperol spritzes, Negronis, and small plates inspired by Italy's coastal cuisine.
The venue features reclaimed wooden tables, a mural of gondolas painted by local artists, and a rooftop terrace offering views of the neighborhood's historic brownstones.
So many flavors await us tonight, and the city's pulse is humming, lots to get to, so let's begin our evening together. Here are our top stories. Residents gathered at the Elizabeth Street Garden in Lower Manhattan to celebrate its preservation, marking a triumph for the nearly 20,000 square foot community space after thwarting redevelopment threats. Dominic Salerno has the full story.
Residents and visitors from across the city have gathered on the lush lawns of the Elizabeth Street Garden for a Saturday garden party. Strings of fairy lights twine between mature trees as families spread blankets on nearly 20,000 square feet of community green. Local musicians play acoustic sets, while volunteers hand out homemade pastries and lemonade. Banners celebrate the garden's recent preservation after months of legal battles that halted a proposed redevelopment. Children chase bubbles near the stone fountain, and longtime caretakers share stories of the space's origins. The atmosphere feels festive, a tangible reminder of the neighborhood's effort to keep this slice of nature intact. Dominic Salerno, GMNA News, Lower Manhattan.
The latest Department of Transportation report shows the city's congestion pricing program has not delivered a measurable lift in air quality. Launched in 2021, the scheme charges drivers entering Manhattan during peak periods to curb traffic and trim emissions. Data collected through 2026 reveal pollutant concentrations remain essentially unchanged, according to city officials. The findings contradict the original goal of cutting traffic-related smog and suggest the fee has had limited impact on the atmosphere. Officials noted that while vehicle counts have fallen modestly, other sources such as delivery trucks and heating systems continue to dominate the emissions profile. The report will be reviewed by the mayor's office as policymakers weigh adjustments to the program and consider additional measures to meet the city's climate targets. City leaders said they will explore tighter pricing tiers and greater investment in electric bus fleets to address the shortfall.
A double shooting erupted just after 2:23 a.m. on August 16 near the intersection of Bergen Street and Howard Avenue in Brooklyn. Police say an argument among a sizable crowd on the block turned violent and two gunmen opened fire. One woman was killed and a man was wounded in the exchange. The New York Police Department has confirmed that two unidentified suspects fled the scene. Officers are canvassing the area and reviewing surveillance footage as part of a homicide investigation. The incident adds to a surge of early morning violence in the city, prompting heightened patrols in the neighborhood. The NYPD urges anyone with information to contact investigators as the search for the shooters continues. This story will be updated as more details become available.
The FDNY Fire Academy conducted a live fire drill on Randall's Island today, simulating a subway tunnel blaze with smoke, flashlights, and full gear to sharpen response tactics. Raphael Brannigan has the full story.
Firefighters from the New York City Fire Department gathered at the FDNY Fire Academy on Randall's Island for a live fire drill that mimicked a blaze inside a subway tunnel. The exercise featured a full-size train car set ablaze, with crews advancing on foot, helmets and breathing masks on, flashlights cutting through thick smoke. Trucks positioned at the tunnel entrance pumped water while instructors timed each phase, testing entry, suppression, and rescue tactics. Officers emphasized the unique hazards of underground fires, from limited ventilation to rapid heat buildup. The drill, held on a summer afternoon, is part of the department's ongoing program to sharpen response skills for subway emergencies that have long threatened the city's transit system. Ralph L. Brannigan, GMNA News, Randall's Island.
At 3:11 a.m. this morning, a vehicle slammed into a 37-year-old man at the intersection of Jamaica Avenue and 186th Street in Jamaica, Queens. The driver fled the scene, leaving the victim in critical condition as emergency responders rushed him to a nearby hospital. NYPD detectives have opened a hit-and-run investigation and are canvassing the area for witnesses and surveillance footage. Officers say they are reviewing traffic cameras and have appealed for anyone who saw the fleeing car to come forward. The suspect remains unidentified and a search is underway across the borough. The department reminded motorists that fleeing an accident is a felony and urged the public to report any information that could help locate the driver. The victim was transported to Jamaica Hospital Medical Center, where doctors say he remains in intensive care and his prognosis is uncertain. Later we'll dive into how NYC is expanding buyout outreach to Queens homeowners in flood-prone areas. Plus more, we will be right back. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Welcome back. Police dismantled a street takeover on Long Island today after drivers rolled donuts and burnouts along Sawgrass Drive. Officers traced the group's movements, intercepting the vehicles in Medford and taking suspects into custody. The raid resulted in the seizure of cars and motorcycles used in the stunt. Authorities said the coordinated effort came after a series of similar events that have plagued Long Island neighborhoods, prompting heightened patrols and investigative resources. The arrested drivers face charges that include reckless endangerment, unlawful use of a vehicle, and possession of equipment for street racing. The incident underscores the department's focus on curbing dangerous gatherings that threaten safety, and officials indicated that enforcement actions will continue throughout the borough. The operation used license plate readers and worked with the Suffolk County Sheriff's Office to locate the convoy before it dispersed. Seized vehicles were impounded at Medford Precinct, and officials will review footage for more suspects.
Police are deploying officers to Upper Manhattan after a recent crowd caused hundreds of thousands of dollars in property and vehicle damage at the Dickman Street subway station. Marisol Furrer has the full story.
Police officers have rolled into the Dickman Street subway station and surrounding streets, setting up barriers and a visible presence after a recent gathering left a trail of broken glass, dented cars, and graffiti-scarred walls. City officials say the earlier crowd caused damage running into the hundreds of thousands of dollars, prompting a coordinated sweep to deter what they call a potential Dickman takeover. Uniformed teams are patrolling the platform, checking bags and monitoring entrances, while a few officers stand by with traffic cones to redirect commuters. The deployment is expected to stay in place through the weekend, as authorities aim to keep the area calm and protect both property and public safety. Marisol Furrer, GMNA News, in Wood.
New York City health officials have confirmed 2 additional fatalities from Legionnaire's disease, bringing the Upper East Side death toll to 9. The latest victims were identified this week, pushing the ongoing outbreak beyond the fatality count recorded during last summer's Harlem cluster. Officials say the disease, caused by a bacteria that thrives in warm water systems, continues to pose a serious threat in the neighborhood's high-rise buildings. Health department teams are intensifying inspections of cooling towers, hot tubs, and plumbing fixtures, while urging residents to seek medical care if they develop cough, fever, or shortness of breath. The city has opened a dedicated hotline for symptom reporting and is coordinating with the Centers for Disease Control to trace sources. No further details on the identities of the deceased have been released, but authorities stress the investigation remains active.
City officials announced an expanded outreach this summer aimed at homeowners in Queens neighborhoods deemed flood-prone, including Hollies. Under the Resilient Acquisitions Climate Adaptation Buyout Program, the Department of Housing and Recovery is contacting residents to gauge interest in selling properties to the city. The effort seeks to purchase homes situated in areas where traditional mitigation measures are limited, with the goal of reducing future flood risk and creating space for resilient infrastructure. Officials say the program is part of a broader strategy to protect vulnerable communities from rising storm tides and extreme rainfall. Outreach teams are canvassing door-to-door, hosting information sessions, and distributing bilingual flyers to ensure residents understand the voluntary nature of the buyout and the compensation process. The initiative remains ongoing as the city continues to assess eligibility and compile offers.
New York City reading proficiency scores have plunged, prompting education experts and state officials to question whether the statewide assessment is fundamentally flawed. The debate could reshape testing policy. Dominic Salerno has the full story.
Reading scores for city students have tumbled, prompting education experts to question the state's assessment itself. The New York State Education Department and the New York City Department of Education released data showing a sharp decline after a year of notable gains. Analysts say the sudden drop could point to flaws in the test design rather than a true loss of proficiency. Officials are reviewing scoring algorithms and question wording, while teachers on the ground report confusion over new item formats. Both agencies have pledged a rapid audit, and a panel of independent scholars will examine whether the instrument aligns with curriculum standards. The outcome could shape how future statewide assessments are constructed. Dominic Salerno, GMNA News, Manhattan.
Let's get a look at your evening forecast with our meteorologist now.
A deepening low and a westerly jet are dragging a moist front across the city tonight. On this date, the city's thermometer once climbed to 87 degrees back in 2025, a spike that rode the crest of an unusually persistent late summer heat wave. By contrast, the coldest reading fell to 56 degrees in 2021, recorded during an early autumn Arctic blast that shoved a polar air mass deep into the mid-Atlantic. Normal highs hover around 80 degrees and lows near 65, so both extremes sit well outside the typical range, reminding us how quickly the jet can swing the climate dial. On the screen, the radar swath shows a band of moderate echoes stretching from western New Jersey into the Hudson, moving eastward under the influence of a west-to-east jet at 47 miles per hour. The heaviest cells passed the city around 4 o'clock and are now thinning, with the last drops expected to exit the borough by 8 o'clock. The remainder of the map is clear, confirming a quick dry down. At 6 this evening, the sky remains fully overcast with the temperature holding at 77 degrees and humidity near 69%. A low-pressure trough is sliding eastward, dragging a moist air mass under a westward jet that tops 577, which explains the lingering cloud deck. As the trough deepens, the pressure will continue falling, keeping the air unsettled but dry, so no rain is expected after the earlier showers. Winds will stay modest, shifting from a south-southwest breeze at 13 miles per hour to brief gusts near 21, with the maximum sustained speed reaching 16 by midnight. The ultraviolet level sits at 6, and there are no active alerts. With the system exiting, we now turn to the 5-day outlook. The next 5 days stay warm under a persistent ridge that will keep the jet stream anchored to the north. Monday brings another overcast day with a high near 86 and a low around 70, the clouds holding steady as the pressure remains low and falling. Tuesday clears dramatically, allowing temperatures to climb to 88 while lows dip to 68, and the same bright pattern holds on Wednesday with a peak of 90 and a low still near 68. Thursday reintroduces cloud cover and a 35% chance of rain as a weak shortwave nudges the trough southward, pulling the high down to 86 and the low up to 72. Friday ends the week back under overcast skies, high 82 and low 70, as the system slowly retreats. And that's your weather. Remember, the local sunset is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts.
Traffic's Moderate will update you on road delays, preview the new East Village Spritz Heavy Bar, and we will be right back. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
The L train is out between Broadway Junction and Canarsie Rockaway Parkway, with shuttle buses running the full route. Expect an extra 15 to 20 minutes on that stretch and plan for crowded buses, especially during rush hour. In Manhattan, the India Independence Day Parade has shut down Broadway from Canal to Chambers and closed several side streets in the financial district. Drivers are being rerouted onto Whitehall and Water Streets, adding a few minutes to downtown trips. The Battery Park Underpass is under flood mitigation work, with alternating lane closures all afternoon. Keep to the right lane and allow extra time if you're heading toward the West Side Highway. Queens sees a single lane on the Metropolitan Avenue Bridge operating at reduced capacity, but the lane is open for traffic. Nighttime Belt Parkway Bridge rehab will not affect today's flow. Overall, aside from those specific closures, the grid is moving. Allow an additional 10 minutes on any of the affected corridors and stay alert for posted signs.
East Village welcomes a slice of the Italian coast as Dante Allam's debut a Spritz Heavy Aperitivo bar today, perfect for a sunset cocktail and a taste of La Dolce Vita. It's a perfect spot to unwind after work with seaside-inspired small plates. Over in Midtown, a restaurant is rolling out a 27-course vegetarian feast honoring an Indian harvest festival, an unforgettable culinary marathon for adventurous eaters. It showcases plant-based creativity and cultural celebration. Across the river in Brooklyn, the Beatles sing-along invites fans of all ages to belt out classic hits together, a feel-good community jam you won't want to miss. Bring a speaker or just your voice, the vibe is joy. And for thrill seekers, Luna Park's charity Coasterthon is racing 7 nonprofits up its roller coasters this weekend, with a prize fueling the competition. Your ride supports a good cause. Tickets are modest and every scream funds local charities. Whether you're sipping, savoring, singing, or screaming, the city's buzzing with options today. And now here's Desmond with sports.
Summer heat sizzles as New York's teams face pivotal moments across baseball and football. Former Yankees right-hander Tommy John, whose eponymous elbow surgery changed pitching, died last night at his Lakewood Ranch home. He pitched for New York in 2 stretches, 1979-82 and 86-89, cementing a legacy that still guides the club's medical staff. His heartfelt goodbye arrived just 8 days earlier. The Yankees travel to Toronto, matching rookie right-hander Ryan Weathers with veteran left-hander Dylan Cease. Both squads field 2 of the league's weakest offenses, but New York's elite rotation could engineer an upset reminiscent of the 2025 ALDS. Watch Weathers' command and Cease's strikeout power to see which arm controls the game. The Mets earned a 5-4 win at Citi Field when Francisco Lindor's 9th-inning single delivered the run. The lineup featured A.J. Ewing in center, Bo Bichette at third, and Lewis Robert in left, with Christian Scott on mound. Washington answered with C.J. Abrams at short and a right-hander, forcing the Nationals to tighten their bullpen. The Yankees' farm system sees a fresh twist as former college catcher Chris Keene, 24, transitions to right-handed relief work after a broken foot redirected his career. Now pitching for the Somerset Patriots, the ex-catcher turned reliever could add depth to Scranton Wilkes-Barre's bullpen, and if successful, earn a call-up to New York's roster later this season. The Giants handed their 2026 draft class a real test, starting all 4 first-round picks against the Vikings. Though the rookie-heavy lineup fell short in the loss, the early snaps give coach a clear view of each prospect's readiness and how they fit into a rebuild anchored by veteran leadership. In the Giants' preseason opener, a 13-10 defeat to the Vikings sparked debate over Odell Beckham Jr.'s future in New York. While his brief return earned crowd cheers, the The loss highlighted lingering offensive gaps and placed rookie quarterback Jackson Dart under the microscope as the team searches for a consistent identity. Stay tuned. The season's storylines are just beginning to unfold.
Thanks, Desmond. Claude Bakery in the West Village is turning a corner. After a modest storefront that's been a morning staple for years, the bakery is expanding its kitchen and rolling out a line of pastries built on locally sourced flour, butter, and seasonal fruit from nearby farms. At the same time, Claude is teaming up with neighborhood brands, think a Brooklyn coffee roaster and a boutique chocolate maker, to create limited edition treats that reflect the village's eclectic palate. The move not only gives the shop room to meet rising demand, it reinforces the West Village's reputation for homegrown, collaborative food culture. In a city where every block competes for attention, Claude's commitment to local flavor reminds us that New York's strongest ingredient is community. Coming up, we'll reveal how NYC homeowners were cleared of an erroneous pied-à-terre tax. Stay tuned, we will be right back. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes, the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Welcome back. City officials have cleared roughly 2,000 New York City homeowners from the newly proposed pied-à-terre tax after recognizing their primary residences were mistakenly flagged as secondary homes. Dominic Salerno has the full story.
City officials have told roughly 2,000 New York homeowners that they won't owe the newly proposed pied-à-terre levy after it emerged their primary homes were mistakenly flagged as secondary residences. The administration said the error stemmed from a data glitch that misidentified primary dwellings as possible second homes. Earlier this month, more than 4,900 owners received warning letters demanding payment, prompting a rapid review. After the audit, the department confirmed that the flagged properties were in fact owner-occupied, and the notices have been rescinded. The mayor's office emphasized that the correction applies only to those whose main residences were incorrectly listed. No further action is required from the affected owners. Dominic Salerno, GMNA News, Manhattan.
Union Square subway station is turning into a sweltering sauna as temperatures surge, leaving commuters battling oppressive heat in the city's busiest transit hub. Priya Raghunathan has the full story.
Temperatures inside Union Square Station have climbed to what commuters are calling a blast furnace sauna. The platform walls are radiating heat, and the air feels thick enough to fog a mirror. Riders are fanning themselves with tickets and pausing between trains, while the usual rush of commuters piles in from every direction. Even the underground ventilation fans seem to be struggling, pushing only a weak breeze through the crowded corridors. The station, the system's busiest hub, is packed with office workers, tourists, and students, all squeezed together as the heat builds. Officials have not yet issued a statement, but passengers are lingering longer than usual, seeking any shade or a brief breath of cooler air. Priya Raghunathan, GMNA News, Union Square.
Thank you, New York City, for tuning in. Tonight's garden party celebration in the Elizabeth Street Garden reminded us how community can preserve green spaces. I appreciate your attention and hope you'll join us again tomorrow for more stories that matter to our city. We'll be back with updates on safety, health, and the neighborhoods we love.